Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. I am Kiana Brown, your forgiveness expert, and I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Healing Incubator podcast, where we're all about truth, forgiveness, and healing. So, you saw the question, am I loving myself? For the next couple of weeks, and I mean couple of weeks, I was actually counting. I said, well, how long is this going to last? And literally, I believe it's going to last maybe up to 7 weeks. So I'm just glad that you're tapped in with us this morning, that you are here, and that what you're going to share. You're going to share this broadcast, because if there's anything that everyone needs to do in this world, one of those things is learn to love yourself, and even ask yourself the question, am I loving myself? And that's the question that I want to start off with as we enter into this series. So go ahead and do me all types of favors right now by going ahead and sharing this broadcast. If you are listening to us via any social media platform at this time, if you want for me to see what you're posting or what you're commenting on, you need to go ahead and accept the StreamYard, right? So that you can post here. But also, if you're a replayer, if you're listening to this after it's live, if you're listening to this actually audibly on the podcast, then I want you to just go ahead, buckle your seatbelts up and enjoy. I've learned so many things over the past course of this last year. And I just want to share those things with you, how I've been able to grow and how I had to ask myself the question, am I loving myself? And so you can also go ahead and put something in the comments. Let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're ready to heal, let me hear you. Let me hear you. I can't hear your comments. Let me see you. Hashtag I'm ready to heal. Hashtag I'm ready to heal. If you're just joining us, hashtag I'm ready to heal. You can go ahead and put that in the comments and let me know where you're tuning in from. Again, people who are here audibly, thank you for listening in. Let's go ahead and take off. Let's go ahead and get up in the air. One of the things that I wanted to initially start off with was a question. And that question, sometimes we ask ourselves this question, how can I love someone if I don't love myself first? And we ask ourselves that question, meaning that we feel that we have to love ourselves first before we can love or usher any love out to someone else. Now, I want you to think about, there's a small caveat there, right? Says we have to love ourselves first. Now, we're all came to this earth the same way, I believe. We all came here the same way through our mother's wombs. And as we were infants, one of the things that we had to learn was love. And we did not love ourselves first. We learned how to love from someone else. And so we learned to love someone else first, and then we had to learn how to love ourselves. So I want us to kind of, really think about that, because there's a caveat there. We always think that we have to love ourselves first before we can love someone else. And a lot of times people do love other people before they love themselves, right? Why? Because this is a learned behavior. This is a learned pattern. This is what we learned coming out of the womb, how to love someone else. But were we really taught how to love ourselves? And there are many areas, many spectrums, and many different ways that we can love ourselves. Now, let me ask you this question. Let's look at it in this way. So think about how you love other people or how you do for other people. Some of us are givers. I mean, we extend ourselves, we overextend ourselves and overextend ourselves. And just imagine the way that you're sharing love with someone else is a mirror of how you love yourself. Let's break that down. Now, if you're a person who overextends yourself, if you're a person who loves to see other people happy, you love giving to other people, you want to always encourage someone, you're always going to this person's event, going to that person's event, always making sure that your face is shown in the room or virtually in the room. That's a reflection of how you love yourself, because at the end of the day, honestly, let's think about this. At the end of the day, how much love is left for you? How much time are you having to spend with Kiana? How much time are you having to spend with yourself? So you have to think about the way that you love other people and what you think is love. I got to show my love. I got to go and, do this and go and do that. But honestly, sometimes the more love you give to other people, other things, is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. And I'm going to go ahead and take the step to say that sometimes I didn't love myself that much because I was willing to be out and do so much for other people at whatever cost it cost me. Sometimes it cost me peace in my home. Sometimes it caused me to become unhealthy. It caused me to gain weight because I was so busy doing all these things. I didn't have time to take care of Kiana, meaning that when it was time for Kiana to eat, Kiana went and grabbed what was closest and nearest to her. But how Kiana would show herself love if she actually took the time to prepare a meal for herself, to sit in an environment where I'm not rushing to eat, but I'm actually taking care of myself. And that's a way that I show myself self-love. And so I just wanted to ask the question to everybody. Are you loving yourselves? I want you to really take a moment and think about the things that are in your life. Are you loving yourself in your finances? Are you loving yourself in your health? Are you loving yourself mentally? Are you loving yourself spiritually? All of these things are components. So we might have great love and we might be like, our love muscle is really strong in one area of our lives, but in another area, that muscle is like, it's like, Dad, I'm falling apart. I can't do this. I'm not strong in this area. I need help. I need some type of stability. Last week, we talked about being that person in someone else's season to help lift them up. But we also have to understand that in that season, when we need help, we need to be able to lean on someone else so that we're not, depleting our muscles, so that we don't have dense muscles, so that we're building that muscle up. We're building our self-love muscle up so that we can go out and do whatever it is that we desire to do. I've realized in my life that there were certain areas, and there still are certain areas in my life where my love muscle is not that strong for myself. And so I decided over the past year to go through some journeys and, do some things because I want to be able to help people. So one of the things I've done, I am a certified relationship coach. Another thing that I have done, I am a certified Christian counselor. And these are things that I did not put out there openly, and because I still had things to work on so that I could be everything that I needed to be: a mental health coach, a wellness and health and spiritual coach, and also a crisis coach, right? These are all certificates that I have in areas that I am gleaning and growing in. And so I had to grow in those areas before I could come and talk to you all and share different things. So I know some of you call me Kiana F. Brown, the forgiveness expert. You can call me Coach Kiana. You can just call me Kiana. I'm here to help and serve you. But this morning, what we want to get into is how we're able to grow and understand the true love and value that we have to have for ourselves. Yes, we have to love what we do. We have to love our family. We have to love our community. We have to love our church. We have to love all of those things. But if we're not able to take a moment and sit back and say, am I really loving myself in this area? And I want you to really think about that, not just while we're here talking about it on the podcast, not just while you're here on social media, however you're tuning in right now. We're streaming probably, I think it's across 5 different platforms right now. So, after this or whenever you get time, because we have to make time for ourselves. And that's also a way that you can show yourself love. Do you think that is love when you're rushing here, rushing there, rushing there? And so I made it a promise to myself to get up early because I don't want to be rushing. I want to be able to take my time. Some people walk through life on their own clock. And that's because they make the time to walk through at their own pace and not to be rushed by society because, we need to hit the alarm clock. We need to hit the snooze button. We need just a little bit more sleep. But mind you, if you go to sleep a little bit earlier, you'll be able to have more rest so that you can get up and utilize those hours. Sometimes we ask the question, how can some people do all of this in one day when we're all allotted the same 24 hours of day? I see you all commenting. I don't know exactly who it is, but I want to acknowledge you. Good morning. And we all have the same amount of time. But guess what? That is one of the components of loving yourself so that you can get the fullness out of your life. So you have to look at the broadness of what love is. You can't just say, oh, I love myself because I went to the store and I'm wearing the finest threads, or I got my eyebrows snatched. I got my lashes on. I got my makeup is on fleek. That is all an outer appearance. When all of that fades away, what does the heart look like on the inside? How are you loving yourself? How are you loving yourself mentally? There's so many times that we turn on the radio or we look at something on television that's not feeding our mentality. It is pure garbage, trash. It belongs somewhere else. But we sit there countless hours, spending time, wasting time, looking at things that will not build us up mentally, which then slowly creeps into our mindset. And then we begin to sometimes think or even speak in the pattern of what we were just watching. So I want you to take the time and ask yourself, I'm keep going to ask you this question. Am I loving myself? Like, I really want you to, take this and ponder over this question over the weekend. Am I loving myself? Now, I love reading the Bible. It is my favorite tool that encourages me, that keeps me going. One of the things that helps me feeds me spiritually, mentally, emotionally. It just helps me all around. And so I wanted to take a look at John 3:16. It's one of the famous passages in scripture. It says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only forgotten son, so that we may have eternal life, right? Then let's look at that. That's love. That is love when you can give your own, right? You can give your own so that other people can have eternal life. Now let's break this down just a little bit. So we're going to not say that put ourselves in the shoes of God, but place us in the center of loving so much that we gave something for other people. Now, when you look at that, right? Oh, Kiana, didn't you just say don't overextend yourself? Don't give too much of your time because that's not loving yourself. Yes, I did just say that. But let's look at it this way. When you are loving someone, that does not mean necessarily that you are giving everything that you have, right? So Jesus was everything to God, right? But so what is it that we can give up so that we can give to the world, right? Look at that question. What is it that we can give up so that we can give to the world? So that not for it to be eternity, but so that we can help make the world a better place. One of the things that we can give up so that we can give to the world is we can give up what we were just talking about, some of that TV time, right? If we give up some of that TV time, I'm trying to find a book. I have so many books around me, but they're all like really, really heavy books. But I'm going to just pick up a book, right? This is the HarperCollins Study Bible, right? So if I give up 20 to 30 minutes a day, that allows for me to give to the world. But look at this caveat right here, right? If I do that, if I give up that time so that I can give to the world, I'm also giving to myself because I'm feeding myself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. We are giving to other people from an empty well. We're giving to people in a bankrupt state of mind. And so I want us to remember that loving yourself first, or learning to love yourself, means that you can put aside those things, those worldly possessions, those worldly events, so that you can absolutely give yourself so that you can be of service to someone else. Now, the service that I will be able to be from reading this Bible doesn't mean that I am going to extend myself to go out our person, but there can be something that I have read inside of that book that will allow for me to speak life into someone else. And that word can shift and change the trajectory of that person's life. That one word, because I took the time to feed myself, to love myself, right? Which allowed for me to be able to give to others. And so that's what God did. God gave Jesus so that he could be a blessing to other people. And so that was love for himself. You know, sacrifice is love. Getting up at 5:30 in the morning is sacrifice and is love. Going outside for your daily walk is love. Getting up every morning and doing your exercise is love. Planning your meals on Sunday throughout the week so that you can save money is love. You have to look at how you can love yourself in its totality, right? There's so many areas that we're broken in, but if we just take the time to love ourselves in those areas, we can build a strong love muscle that is unbreakable, right? We can build a strong love muscle that is unbreakable. It is 8:18. And guys, you know, one of the things that I want to talk about that we will get to is boundaries, right? We will get to boundaries, and some people don't understand boundaries. Oh, they don't understand boundaries. They think that because I have set a time limit to be in an environment, that means, oh, Kiana don't want to be here. Kiana don't. I'm just keeping it 100. No, I'm not going to say I'm going to keep it 100. I'm just keeping it real with you all. I'm keeping it real because when you set those boundaries, even in relationships, we're going to get on relationships and love, right? When you set those boundaries in certain situations and circumstances in your life, that's another way that you love yourself. Because you won't allow for yourself to have wasted time. You won't allow for your energy to be depleted because there's so much of you that has to develop and grow within your own love so you can, one, do what John 3:16 says, right? So I want you all to take that into account and ask yourself in those different areas, your love, spiritual, financial, emotionally, are you loving yourself? Am I loving myself? You know, am I loving myself? And so the one thing that I want for you all to take with you today is to be quiet. Be quiet. You know, there's so much noise going on. You can turn the TV on and look at the news, and your mind can go from this place to that place, to this place, to that place. And none of that. And, you know, I'm not saying that you can't have a love for what's going on. You can't pray and you can't wish well to what's going on in the world around you. But if the world right in your presence, your temple is not right, It's nothing that you can do. And you can allow for those things, right? If we don't have that strong love muscle for our mental health, we can allow for those things to be a deterrent to us and pull us down. So I want us to get quiet. In that question, am I loving myself? Get quiet. Get quiet and ask yourself, am I loving myself? And you know where you're not loving yourself. You know where you're not being the best that you can be. You know where you're not being strong enough. You know where you need to grow. You know where there needs to be some development done. So sit back this weekend and ask yourself the question, am I loving myself? Am I loving myself in my relationships? Is my spouse like running over me? Or, do I like overextend myself and go back? Because you're in a relationship doesn't mean that you have to do any and everything that person wants you to do. Right? So I want you all to just really take that into effect into your life this weekend. And the way you are in the world, the way you are within the world is a reflection of who you are in yourself. The way that you are in the world is a reflection of who you are within yourself. In the world, are you busy? In the world, are you drained? Are you stressed out? Do you let the things of the world take over? Yeah, are you so busy that, you don't have time to sit still? You don't even have time to sit with your children? These are some of the things that over the past couple of months, I've been able to sit with and be quiet. Be quiet, because in the quietness, that's when you'll be able to hear. You'll be able to hear directions on where you need to go, how you need to do this, when you need to do this. We know that there needs to be some change. For myself, I knew that I need to get my health back into order. So I started with walking. And then I listened. Walking wasn't enough. Kiana, you need to eat right. And then eating right, after I had that component, eating right was not it. Kiana, you need to have a daily regimen where you need to have more agility going on in your routine so that you can get the results that you want. But it takes you being quiet. It takes you being still. It takes you listening. And it takes you asking yourself that question, am I loving myself? So I just want to thank you all for tuning in to the Healing Incubator podcast. I am Kiana F. Brown, your forgiveness expert. Again, I just want to thank everybody who's tuning in, whether you're tuning in virtually or whether you're listening to the audio on the podcast. If you're here virtually, go ahead. Hashtag I'm ready to heal. Hashtag I'm ready to heal. Let me know where you're coming from. And all of you who are watching the replay, I still want to engage with you. I want to be able to answer questions. If you have a question about loving yourself, because we'll be here in this series for the next couple of weeks. And next week, I can't wait for us to dig into another topic. But I just wanted to get the question out in the atmosphere so that you can start to think, so that you can take that question with you over the weekend. Am I loving myself? Am I loving myself? All right, guys, be blessed. I pray that something that has been said has been able to inspire you, has been able to shift the way that you think. It's going to shift the way that you move. We got to remember that we are people of movement. How are you moving in your atmosphere? Are you moving gracefully? Are you moving with a tick? Like those ticks? Are you moving like that? Are you gliding through? How are you moving through your atmosphere today? So take those things with you. Again, am I loving myself? And if you're ready to heal, hashtag I'm ready to heal. And here on the Healing Incubator podcast, we're all about 3 components: truth, forgiveness, and healing. 1, we're right here today at the area of asking yourself that question, am I loving myself? And that's where you have to get to the truth of the matter. You have to get to the truth of the matter. Am I doing this? Am I not doing this? How can I do this? What do I need to do this? Well, if you need to know some more answers to those questions, tune in for the next couple of weeks. We'll be going over those things. And I guess I will see you all next week. Thank you for celebrating today with me. As you know, some people know that today is National Forgiveness Friday in my world. So if you have not been loving yourself and you asked yourself that question and you realize that you haven't, today is the day that you can forgive yourself, because you've done the first part. You've done the admittance. You've already acknowledged your truth. And now it's time to work on that forgiveness piece so that you can heal. So keep tuning in, and we'll see you next week. All right, guys, be blessed.